If we created the schema for the FAQ, the frequently asked questions in the previous lesson, now we can use the ChatGPT to create other kinds of schemas. I'm not going to show you all of the different variations that you can do. Of course, you could create schemas for products, for videos, for events, for whatever else you have on your website. But let's check another example of how we can create the schema for articles. Because this is probably the most interesting and the most used schema of them all. So how do we do that? I've already done something in ChatGPT. So I just asked it, can you please prepare the schema.org code for an article for, and then I gave it an article. These are the national holidays that we were looking at previously, right? And it said, all right, here's the schema.org code, and it prepared the code. So context is schema, type is article, headline, it added the date published, it added short description, and then the content of the article. Of course, if you know schema.org, you know that there are many different parts that you can add into the article schema or into any schema and make it more perfect, right? So I did that. I wanted to add the author in that in the schema. So I just said, can you add the author? And it rewrote the schema for the article with the added author, right? So author type Peter Mesares, right? So that's me. And of course, that can be all, or you can just work on it a bit more. We can go and use the Google's schema validator, where you can just paste some code, and we'll use the rich results test. I will copy the code and put it into the code. So you can switch here from URL to code, and we want to go with the code, and then just go test code. It's going to test the code and give us the result. So it found one valid item, and that's an article. It has one non-critical issue, two non-critical issues. It's missing the field image, and it's missing the field URL, of course, because we don't have the image and the URL. We can also add that. Whatever the image, the featured image for that article is going to be. And we can also add the URL and the image. And it creates the schema that we can then validate in the Google validator and then add to our website. So for both of these schemas that I've added, so the article and the previous FAQs, you can both of these add to your website, and they're not going to show on your front page, right? They're not going to be seen on your content. They're just hidden in the code, and it's okay that way, right? So don't worry if something here is a bit different from what the code you have on your website. That's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. And in the next lesson, we're going to figure out how to create a featured snippet for your website.